Alright, so I thought I'd do a little video on the era Vectis. That's right, because I've had a request to do a video on it. So that's what I'm going to fucking do now, right? So if you don't know what the Vectis is, right, let me get this in by here. It's basically a door mechanism, right, that you get on UPVC doors, composite doors, things like that, right? So this is a general Euro cylinder mechanism. Okay, it will look like that, and then you get the Euro profile shape cut out of the actual mech itself. Yeah. Is this the right key for it? Yes, it is. So you see a little arm in there. The cam will throw the little arm, and then you can open the door via the handle. All right. So that is a Euro cylinder mechanism, and this is it's the same thing. It's just a Mortice version. So there's a tiny little baby Mortice lock in there, a little tiny era Mortice lock, and it's a 5-lever curtain Mortice lock as well. Right, made by Era. Here's the key for this one. Okay, so yeah, it's literally a very small little Mortice lock. Now, if you've never picked one before, you may not understand, how to go about picking it, if you're doing the right thing. But let me tell you something. These are so fucking easy to pick because there is no anti-pick notches or false gates on any of the levers in this lock, right? There's nothing on them. To be able to pick this lock, all you need is the most very basic of Mortice picking skills. It is find a binding lever. That is it. That is probably one of the first things you will learn when it comes to Mortice picking, okay, is find a binding lever. There's many other things then that go on after that you will need to learn, right? But it's just like driving a car, right? It's like saying, I can turn the steering wheel, right? And now you can drive a car, now you can't. There's other things that go along with it, right? But if you can turn the steering wheel, right? If you can find a binding lever, then you can open this fucking thing. Now, because the levers was really small, I will take this apart and show you, right? But the levers are really small, and you've obviously got a spring on there, right? Which makes it a heavy lift. It makes it really, really tight. So there's a lot of downwards force coming on that lever, right? So when you do lift them, they will feel quite stiff and quite heavy in there, right? But it doesn't matter, because all we're going to do is find a binding lever. Okay. When these first come out, you had one of the best companies in the world, who was one of the first companies to start making decoders and things like that. They had a look at it, and they're like, right, do we need to make a decoder for the era Vectis, right? Take it apart, they work out, they go all the lever heights and stuff, and then they're like, of course we don't. What a stupid idea that would be, right? Because this is so easy to pick, there would literally be no market for a decoder for something like that, right? So they decided not to do it. But you can actually get a decoder for this. All right. Now, if you're a locksmith, yeah, I get it. Or I can make a key from a decoder. If you're a locksmith, you should be able to make a key by hand for a fucking Mortice lock anyway, right? But if you have a decoder for an era Vectis, then you should probably send it back and learn the very basics of Mortice picking. All right. So I'm about to show you tonight. Now, obviously, if this is on a door, okay, it would be inside it, and the door would come out a little bit, and then you have a door handle, and then you come out a bit more, right? So there will be some curtain picks that won't be able to work on it if you was doing it on a door. If you're doing it for lock sport or just, practice, you can use fucking anything. But even if it was on a door, I mean, you could literally use an era Vectis key. You could cut that fucking thing down. I've got one. I'll actually pick it with that as well. Or just a random piece of wire. Anything you can get, just a tension on that bolt doesn't really make a fucking difference, right? But as I got this in a vise, I might as well use this. This is the RB curtain pick, by the way. So here's my wire. What we're going to do, we're going to find a binding lever. Now understand that this is an era, right? And many Euro locks will have levers that sit very low inside there. This one is no exception. So if I put my tension on, all right, and then I push my pick wire through like that, and then obviously when you pull it to the front, you'll be under lever 1, and then when you push it all the way to the back, you will assume, unless you've actually counted the levers as you've gone through, you will assume that you're under lever 5, right? Well, you shouldn't assume that, because on many Euro locks you won't be, and this one is the same. So if I push it forward, I'm not under lever 5, but there, if I take my tension back that way, right, what's now? My pick jolted forward a little bit. Let me show you that again. So I'll push it, I'll take the tension off, yeah, my pick goes forward. So let me show you the key. So lever 4, you can see it smack in the middle there, right, is a very low lift, and that's what I'm actually hitting. So imagine my fingers here, levers 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? 3 and 5 are the same, so they would sit there. Lever 2 is fucking up there somewhere, but lever 4 would sit there. So I'm bringing my wire in, right, and I'm hitting it. I'm not under lever 5, I'm under lever 4. So quite often you always see me doing it, coming off the run, trying to dig under the lever. That's what you will have to do on some of these locks, right? So let me get back to that. So yeah, you'd be there, you'd have to come off the run, get under it, and then you'd be stuck then. You're under lever 5, but you'd be stuck coming back. So each time you want to go to lever 5 and lever 3, you're going to have to come off the run, because if a lever is sitting that fucking low, it generally doesn't really need lifting, but if it does, a very small amount. So we're going to start the front, and we're going to lift lever 1. Remember what we're trying to do? Find a motherfucking binding lever. Is that binding? No. So let's go to lever 2. Nice sound on it, it's not binding. Okay, let's go to lever 3. Now it's not binding. Lever 4 clearly doesn't need touching. So I'm going to come off, get underneath it. You can see now, look, I'm stuck. No matter. I only need to lift lever 5, so let's have a go. Lever 5 is binding. Right, and you get a little bit of movement on your tension on there, which is good. And we'll come off that, go back to 1. No. 2 is still moving. Little click on 3, and again, movement by there. Alright, let's check lever 5 again. Yep, lever 5 still got movement. So lever 1, it's stiffening up a little bit. Lever 2, also. So I'm going to go lever 1, little click on that. Lever 2, little click on that. And this lock is now open, right? What did we do? Followed a binding lever. So let's lock it up, right? And like I said, you don't need a specific Mortice pick for it, or a fucking decoder. Come on now, right? This is just a file down key. Like I stated it, I've had this years. So we'll pop this in. And again, I didn't even take the fucking end of it off. I literally just put a screwdriver through it every time I've used it. So yeah, let's have a look. Let's turn that around. Here we go. Let me get a screwdriver. Fucking why not? Yes, so same thing. Find a binding lever. We'll have to come off the run at some point. That's alright. 2. Little click on 3. Oh, let me get under it. There we go. Little click on 3. 1 and lever 2. And the lock is open again. Alright? You can see why you do not need a fucking decoder for it. If you've bought one, send the fucking thing back. You don't need it. Or just sell it. Let me take this apart and show you what's in it. Let me just take this side one out. I've obviously taken all the other stuff out of it because we only ever use this for picking. We got others with the full mech in it, but let's get this back in. So yeah, you know, you follow a binding lever, you find one, that is it. There's no anti-picks on it, there's no false gates, you can barely overset it. But like I said, the springs, I'll show you now, they're quite strong because they're only small levers. So they do need a bit of a lift. So you know, you may just be touching them, not lift. Some of them need a good lift, right? That's the difference. So let's open this without it falling apart. And look, we've got tiny little baby levers in there. Give you just to compare. Alright. There's a normal Era lever, there's an Era Fortress lever, and then the Era Vectis. So yeah, there's 5 levers in there. And we can see there, like lever 1, lever 2, there's lever 3, and look at lever 4. How low it sits. Just sitting by there. And then lever 5 is behind it. So hold on. There's lever 1 and 2. That's lever 3. Okay. There's lever 4 and lever 5 is behind there as well. So, oh fucking hell! Almost threw a bolt at you then. Let me take them out and show you. Just to show you that they're in there. 'Cause you can't see the 5th one. Might as well take them out anyway, just to show you the springs on them as well. But again, like I said, they're small levers, they're small springs, so it's a heavy lift on some of them. All right. There's lever 2, and again, look, no anti-pick notches. Very, very easy to pick. And as you can imagine, not easy to get fucking out. Lever 4, again, look how low it is. Didn't really need a lift at all, just by there. And then lever 5. Can we get it? Ugh. Fucking right I will. Let me get that out of there. Take this out. There we go. Lever 5, right? So yes, the Vectis. Nice, easy log to pick. If you're new to mortise picking, this is very good log to actually start with because you get nice feedback from it, and it's a very basics of mortise picking. Find a binding lever. All right then, I'm out. Thanking you. See you later. Bye bye.